The Opinion, and I am Michael J.
Canada, the U.S.,
All
two
roads lead to
countries,
Putin.
totally different politics.
Dang.
But we share a border.
Yes, they
a
do.
media space, and a lot of the
In North
same
America,
problems.
they do right now.
I'm Michael
All
J., and this is
roads
Borderline
lead
Politics,
to Putin.
where we cut through the cliches.
So here we're
and
doing
compare
Poilievre today.
real policy,
Pierre Poilievre.
culture, and power.
Pierre
on
Poilievre.
both sides.
Most recent upload. He may have uploaded some new stuff, but here's the headline. Tear down the liberal wall to unleash an economic bonanza. This is what Pierre Poilievre's doing. Mr. Slogans, Mr. Platitudes. Tear down the liberal wall to unleash an economic bonanza. What's my notes say here? Oh, yeah. So this is like Trump, mirroring Trump. Poilievre mirrors Trump because Poilievre is just following the salesman of the South, Maga South, Trump the salesman. Meanwhile, up north, Maga North, we've got Poilievre, the politician / salesman, pushing ideologies that exclude reality. So what do I mean? Well, first of all, we have here Josh. I didn't expect Josh to be over on Pierre Poilievre's channel today. Elevate Podcast with Mr. Pierre Poilievre.
Does there come a point where it's like, we just need all hands on deck, and try to work together somehow? And I guess that was what you're trying to do with Bill C5 before Parliament left session. And so you're trying to I know it's not what we wanted, but we'll try to get something going here.
No, so C5, you think of C5 as the Liberals have built a big wall to block our resources off. What C5 is allows the government to permit businesses to go around that wall. Obviously, our view is get rid of the wall.
Pierre Poilievre oversimplifies complex regulatory and market realities, suggesting that simply repealing a few laws will make investment explode and factories blossom overnight. You heard it here. Pierre Poilievre suggesting that simply repealing a few laws will make investment explode and factories blossom overnight. Holy moly.
But we didn't have the votes to do that at this time. So what we've said is we're introducing something called the Canadian Sovereignty Act, which would knock down the wall that blocks the self-imposed wall that the government has put in place blocking our resources, and legalize rapid pipeline, mine, LNG, nuclear plant construction.
It just keeps getting better. Is this the politician or is this the salesman? Now he frames sovereignty, you heard it here, he frames sovereignty as quick deregulation rather than the hard work of building diversified trade and investment relationships beyond the U.S. And this is where we're at. This is really the way you got to look at it, folks. It's really simple. Pierre Poilievre frames sovereignty as quick deregulation rather than the hard work. He puts in a lot of hard work being a salesman, put it into proper policy that works for Canadians and that has traction and tractability to help Canadians would be much better, and building a diversified trade and investment relationships that don't just happen at the snap of a finger and are beyond the U.S. so that we can minimize our reliance on the U.S. because they've obviously shown under Trump, signs have been there for a while, long before, that our dependence on the U.S. has worked against the Canadian people. Back to the show. Back to the shoe.
So that we can get these things done by repealing C69, C48, the industrial carbon tax, all of those things need to go. and by making it lowering the capital gains tax to zero if you reinvest in Canada. And actually, news came out today showing this would be particularly helpful because this year, 125 billion net has left Canada to invest in the American markets. 125 billion dollars. It's a lot of money. And if you had a rule that anybody who sells an investment in Canada but reinvests it back in sells it anywhere.
Pierre, go easy on the hand on the table. We're getting, this noise feedback. We're getting slapped back through your pod mic there, buddy.
In the world, but reinvests it back in Canada, gets a capital gains tax deferral, there'd be an enormous incentive to bring all those, not just the 125 that left this year, but the 800 or 900 billion that have left in the last decade. Bring it all pouring back into our economy. It would be...
Yeah. Just like the big tap of water Trump turned on in the California wildfires to put out all those wildfires. Meanwhile, he flooded farmers' fields and and abused their ability to have water during the drought times. Really smart. So here you've got Poilievre gaslighting. Yep. Poilievre, Mr. Ideology, Mr. Slogan, Mr. Platitude. If he was a really smart guy, he'd understand that the Russian propaganda machine has been supporting Trump, has creeped up to Canada, is working Canada big time, but this is beyond Mr. Poilievre and the Conservative Party's scope of understanding, because they just need to serve up slogans and get the people on they don't have any policy, but sloganeering is the deal. So gaslight by claiming the only barrier to prosperity is internal walls. And once you get rid of those internal walls, and all this investment will come back to Canada. Meanwhile, he's ignoring external U.S. pressures on North America, geopolitically on the world, and global trends. So he's ignoring external U.S. pressures and global trends. He's watching as Trump wants to do trade with Russia, which amounts to about $3.5 billion of trade with Russia, and can't understand why... Can't understand. He hasn't even friggin' shed a light on it. He hasn't even opened that can as to why Trump has given up trillions of trade, proven trade, supply chains that have been created for the automotive industries between Mexico and Canada. Trillions of dollars. And this guy misses the boat. Misses the boat. Let's see what else he's got to say here.
Rock and roll. It'd be factories and pipelines and business centers, and new IP would be invented. It would be like an economic bonanza. So that's part of our Canadian Sovereignty Act.
Yeah, it sounds good, Pierre. And your followers lap it all up because they're under the influence. Under the influence? Yeah, under the influence. That's going to come out in further videos. Russian propaganda. Just utter nonsense. None of this stuff's going to help us. So here we have, in summary, Poilievre, Mr. Pierre Poilievre, his second in command, who is it, Lanceman? Andrew Scheer stepped in for him during his tenure away from the hot seat, which came about because Carleton, which is part of Ottawa, which was a riding that Mr. Pierre Poilievre held for 20 years, was totally rebuked. So Poilievre's communications rely on easy scapegoats. This is it, kids. He relies on easy scapegoats, vivid analogies, and mockery. And you heard me right. And mockery rather than real solutions. Leaving Canadians and Canadian audiences fired up, but underinformed. Let me emphasize, underinformed on how to respond to U.S. pressures with this trade war, or truly rebalancing Canada's global position. Do you get me there, Mr. Pierre Poilievre? There you go, big C. Now it's far right-wing propaganda now, because all it is propaganda. Salesmen, slogans, etc., etc. Questions, comments, throw in the comments section. I'm sure the guy means well. He's just lost his way. Pierre Poilievre, Conservative Party, have lost their way. The days of the real Conservative Party prior to the overtaking of the Conservatives by the Reform Party and Stephen Harper has been forgotten. So love and peace to everybody. Questions, comments, throw in the comments section. Take care. Talk to you all soon. Ciao for now.